Hello, fans, and welcome. It's finally here, the inaugural season for the Utah Hockey Club, and the Two Line Pass podcast will be there with you for every game. I'm Randon, and alongside my co-hosts, Dustin and Ryan, we will bring you inside the team, giving you the latest news, highlights, and an in-depth analysis on everything about the Utah Hockey Club. Welcome to another episode of the Two Line Pass. Welcome in, fans. Another episode of the Two Line Pass podcast. I'm Randon. Here with me is Dustin, back from his undisclosed upper body injury, which turned out to not be very serious at all. However, Ryan still down and out with his undisclosed upper body injury. But Dustin, while you were gone, you missed a lot. It was horror. It was disaster. Talk me off the ledge. Dustin, I'm losing my mind here. How are you doing tonight?
I am in sports fan hell. And it's not even just Utah Hockey Club. I don't know, I don't think I've gone over this before, but I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown of who I am a fan of. Okay, I am a Seattle Mariners fan who they were good enough to give me hope, and then they sucked. I am a Dallas Cowboys fan. They suck. I am luckily enough that just accepted the fact that the Utah Jazz are going to suck for this year and probably at least a handful of years after this. So I've mentally disengaged from it, but they suck. I am a University of Utah football fan. They went 0 for October and they've lost 4 straight and they just can't do shit. And I don't even have basketball to look forward to. They're picked to finish dead last in a 16-team conference. And now, like fool's gold at the beginning of the year, oh, look, Utah Hockey Club, my bastion of faith. This is where all of my hopes and dreams are going to be fulfilled. We're great. We're good. We're young. And we're awesome, and we're fast, and we're skilled, and we're winning, and it's awesome. We beat the Rangers, we beat the Islanders, we beat the Bruins. Yes, everything's going good. And then, surprise, surprise, wait. This is the Arizona Coyotes. We suck too. And just guys, my athletic career is over. I'm living vicariously through all of these teams, and they all suck all at the same time, and my life is in shambles. I am in hell. I need something to save me. So I went through and I've been I'm finding reasons to lull myself into a sense of hope. So I have a couple of examples and we'll get there, but I have reasons to be hopeful for the future. So I'm going to do my best to pull myself out of this depressive spiral, and we're going to get through it together. So it's going to be okay.
Thank you. I do feel better. I feel like we were on a ship with the Utah Hockey Club, and then the beautiful mermaids, they were singing to us and they were showing their flowing hair, and we sailors, we were like, yes, this is paradise, and we went, but they were tricky sirens, and then they crashed our ship amongst the jagged rocks and the lightning and the thunder crashing around us and the waves, and now we're drowning, but you, Dustin, are a little boat, a little life raft, and I'm going to cling to it and ride this out, because there are bright spots. I know I said panic. I know I said hit the panic button. If we lose to the San Jose Sharks, hit the panic button. But we don't need to necessarily completely abandon ship. We just need to repair significant portions of the ship. And we'll discuss exactly what parts those are. But yeah, it was an exciting first few games. Ryan described it as a high he'll be chasing for the rest of his life, and it seems like maybe we'll be chasing it for the rest of the season, but not ever get there. But this is this is, this is the reality maybe. And I allowed myself to be blinded that a, 2 wins, 1 loss, 2 wins, 1 loss, that kind of thing was going to be good enough. And now it seems like 1 win, 2 losses, 1 win, 2 losses is kind of going to be the best we can hope for. But that still leaves us on the outside looking in. And I was thinking about, I was saying, why does this hurt so much, right? Like, practice gratitude, Randon. You've got a team in Utah now for the first time, an NHL team. Practice some gosh dang gratitude and be thankful for what you have. And then I was like, no, because we don't have, like, we're not the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are just perpetual, they're going to screw up, but they've got the history behind them, right? They're a storied franchise, and their screw up is like of epic proportions. We may not even get a chance to screw up in the playoffs like Toronto does every year. We don't have a historical, lovable losers type where you kind of root for them, like the Minnesota Wild, where you're like, go get them, Tiger, but they're never going to do it. But you cheer for them. Arizona, I described as, Dustin, you and I both played NHL EA games. Tell me if this is accurate. The Arizona Coyotes existed so that you could replace them with your own custom made franchise in the game. Am I
Yes,
way off
which
base
is
there?
which is what we are. We don't even have a
Yeah.
name yet. Like, we just we're basically just, you choose a name, and it's like you can choose where you're from, and like you can pick a stock name, and then you get this boring stock logo, and just you pick cool colors, and you have your team, and then you go and you trade for who you wanted, and yeah, that's what we are now. We haven't even found our footing. So, but I think part of the reason why we're so like down right now is just how it happened that it's four in a row, and it's like it's come so like in succession. Like,
Hmm.
if it had been like a win and then a loss, and then 2 wins and then a loss, like, and we were trading off, it's like, okay, like we're up and down. This is what we expected, but like, and to cap it off with being the first win for that glorified ECHL team that we talked about, like barely NHL level talent. And like, I admittedly did not watch the third period. I laid my head on my pillow after a long day of work at 4-1, thinking, cool, we're off the schneid, the losing streak is over, we're up 4-1, there's no way we blow that in the third period against this team, no way. And then wake up to the news in the morning like, another one, and just it's all an avalanche of suck at the same
Hmm.
time right now. But speaking of the Avalanche, we have the same amount of points as them. We're only 4 points back of the Stars. Like, as bad as it seems, we're not that far off from being okay. Like, that's 2 wins, 2 wins, and we're right there. So, I mean, that's all it takes.
Yep, that is the hope that we will carry through. And I do like that you mentioned a little earlier that, we are past our athletic prime, if we even had it. I never really had an athletic prime. Lanky kid all my life. But we do live vicariously through athletes, because let's just take a look around what's going on around you. We're currently in, for the one non-American listener that we have, some random person that this is the only podcast they can get access to. We're in the midst of the presidential election cycle, and it's a lot of crap going on in the world, and we need the sports. We need it, which
Yes.
makes this losing streak and all the other sports also in a tornado and whirlwind of suck. It makes it hurt more, even though we have bright spots, we have optimism, we've both got them. Dustin, let's go through some of the bright spots, why fans don't need to panic quite yet, and then I'll sprinkle in some why they still need to panic.
Okay. I'm not going to go through every team in the league, but I'm going to talk about. I mean, obviously, the Edmonton Oilers, Stanley Cup. They made the Stanley Cup Finals last year. They ultimately lost, but they ran all the way through. They beat my Stars. Like, really good season for them. They lost 10 of their first 12 games last year. I mean, they had, I believe, 5 points after 12 games. Like, things looked really, really bad. And then they went on to win 3, 6, 11 of their next 14. So just at the drop of a hat, things can change. Who won the Stanley Cup Finals last year? The Florida Panthers. At one point, from March 14th to April 6th, so that's almost a full calendar month. They lose 4, 6, 8, 9 out of 12 games. Like they went almost a whole month, only winning 3 games that entire month. And what do? They're friggin' hoisting Lord Stanley's Cup aloft their cabezas and drinking from it and hanging banners from their rafters. The first game of the season this year. The Dallas Stars. You know, I
Mhm.
love my Dallas Stars. They went through a period where they lost 6 out of 7 games last year, multiple ones in overtime. So they lose. The Boston Bruins, they lose 6 out of 8 games, and then they have another one where they lose 4 out of 5 just right after that. And then after that, what do? They go and reel off 7 out of the next 8. They win 7 of the next 8. So it's a game of streaks. Teams get streaky. Teams will lose. Teams will win. It'll be fine. We're getting off the schneid, and when we do, we're going on a winning streak, and everything's going to be fine. And everybody's going to be tuning back into the Two Line Pass podcast saying, yes, I want to relive that win. I want to relive everything that we just went through. It's going to be amazing. Hope wins the day.
I love it. And while you're, reliving it with us, follow us on Twitter at the Two Line Pass. Now, if we look at the standings, like you said, that last year a lot of teams were pretty awful to begin the season. A lot of teams that ended up doing very well and winning Lord Stanley's Cup and also going and eventually losing Lord Stanley's Cup. Is this prophecy? Did Utah have to lose to obtain the promised land? We are tied for the second wild card spot in the West, okay, with 10 points. We're out, we're on the outside looking in, but those 3 teams all have 10 points. The Colorado Avalanche, the vaunted Colorado Avalanche, which mopped the floor with us, have the same amount of points as us. Guess who has less points than us, Dustin? Those Edmonton Oilers, the
Mm-hmm.
same the same Edmonton Oilers who went to the Stanley Cup Finals last year with a very similar roster. Some say they even got better because they traded Cody Ceci away and gave him to the Sharks. We're ahead of them in the standings. They only got 9 points, those bums. I mean, come on now. Let's look at, if we look at the Western or the Eastern Conference, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they've won like 4 Stanley Cups with Sidney Crosby, maybe only 3. I hate them. They only got 7 points, the bunch of bums. Washington Capitals, they got one of the best offensive players in the world. Only 10 points, bunch of bums. Boston
Yeah,
Bruins,
the
Montreal
Capitals have
Canadiens.
12 now.
Oh, do they?
Caps have 12. They won tonight.
Son of a bee sting. Anyway, point is, those are some pretty
The Bruins have 9 points. They have
bums.
one of the best tenders in the league, and they have 9 points.
Yep. What a bunch of bums. Can't even get to the 10 point, right? But guess who can, guys? Guess who can get to 10 points? That's right.
The
Your Utah Hockey
Club.
Yep. And they only needed 10 games to get there, too. That's a point per game. If you are a player, you're happy with a point per game average, aren't you? That's 82
If
points.
you're getting 82 points at the end of the year,
that is 6 more than we had last year. So improvement.
well,
But
let's see, 82. 82 has us out of the playoffs, but it's more than we had. So it's an improvement.
Yep,
we're improving.
Trending up, but still lots of time to play. We had a very busy schedule in October. We played 4 home openers in October, so it's you look at teams like so look at the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Those cheaters have had 7 of their 10 games at home. How is that even fair? Like, what a bunch of bums. And guess what their away record is, guys? 0-2-1. Boy, a little home cooking. for the Golden Knights there. It's not enough for them to cheat on the injured reserve list. They got to get some favorable October schedules, is the only reason they're ahead of us. That's the truth. And they have a talented, but I actually picked them to not even make the playoffs, which is very, very frustrating. Those jerks. But so again, we talk about this as if these 10 games are, what's gonna happen for the rest of the season, and it's just not the case. The team is going to continue to grow and learn. Now, if we're in the same spot, right? We're looking at this at game 40, game 50. Then it's really the truth of the matter is that we are a below average team. And coming to terms with that will be difficult because you struggle to then say, or maybe not even struggle, but you look and you start to look at the landscape of the NHL and say, okay, what's the missing piece? Do we need to go get some rock star goalie? Even though I don't necessarily think goaltending is the problem, like it's an easy cop out to say, oh yeah, you get a stud goaltender.
I,
Easy cop out.
Ingram hasn't been great, but he hasn't, outside of one game, he hasn't been bad, which is what we expected from him. Like we've said multiple times, like he's going to be good enough for you to win games. He's not going to win you he's not going to win you a whole bunch of games because he just turns into a Bobrovsky type Stonewall. But he's also not going to lose you games. Like he's gonna give you good enough performances to where a team like Utah, with as much skill as they have on the offensive side, should be able to go win games. So like I don't think goaltending is the problem.
No, not at all. And if you look at the game, he allowed 46 shots to get through. He did pretty good, and there were a lot of saves that he probably had no business making. And once again, though, kind of the team just stops playing inexplicably, and so you've got to clean that up. Even a marginal effort, and we get out of there 4-3. But you lose that focus.
And that's going to happen when you have a team as young as Utah is and as inexperienced as Utah is. Like they're going to let their foot off the gas when they have a lead like that. And then, I mean, it wasn't like San Jose scored early in the third and then midway through the third and then tied it up late. Like it was just one quick flurry where if you blinked or if you ran to the restroom really quick, you left the room at 4-1 and you came back at 4-4. Like it's just, it got out of hand that quickly. And it's like, that's when you're playing professional sports, that's what's going to happen if you let off and you just think, okay, we can coast home with this one, boys. Like it'll change in the drop of a hat.
It's Clayton Keller said it in an interview. That the team is learning to. They're learning to play together to overcome those injuries, and the roster continues to evolve. Since we were joined last, we've had Maverick Lamoureux, our first round drafted defenseman. He's come up, and it seems like he's going to solidify. Valimaki seems to be a healthy scratch, no injuries there. But if there's shifting there, I believe it Lamoureux and Valimaki will shift, or Bertuzzo, obviously in a 3-player switch. But you've got that shift going. Josh Doan was sent down to the AHL, and Coach Rigney said that it was a confidence issue, that he had lost confidence since the preseason, and he looked good early in the regular season, and then just I'm not in there in the locker room, right? I'm not there at practice, so I don't get to see that loss of confidence. I just thought that sometimes, Josh Doan was a young, maybe a little bit of outmatched player, and so I predicted him to go down when Bugstad came back. But I didn't think that there was any psychological problem. That he was one of the young forwards that I picked to go down. But you've got Bugstad back, and that's a very important piece of the puzzle. But you've still got Coach T playing with these line combinations that I'm hoping he's done. You heard me talk in post game that I hope he's done with the line combination shifting, at least in a major sense. I hope he picks a, whether it's Liam O'Brien, whether it's Carcone, whoever it's going to be. Kyler Yamamoto is back in the AHL, but whoever's going to be that fourth line guy, pick with them. Let them run for 6, 8, 10 games and see what you've got. You don't need to. I feel like where our panic is almost reactive to what the team is seeming to like. They're panicking and making these changes to try to, we're trying to get sparks and stuff, but the rapid pace of them and the consistency of the changes, I think, in my mind, shows a lack of confidence overall in the roster and trying to find something that works instead of just accepting the fact that it's a young team that needs to develop and allowing that development to take place. And maybe that was an unfair pressure that was placed on Coach Strigny with the offseason moves to declare, okay, the rebuild is over. We're now ready to compete. And maybe that was unfair. Maybe we weren't quite ready to compete. But if we get over that, then that's the positive, because then at that point, at least we know, right? We can start to establish the patterns of where are the 100% weak spots. There's no argument. There's no cop out. There's no excuses. Here's the things that are bad. And then you can start to look at, okay, is there a free agent out there that can correct this? Is there some sort of trade out there that we can make and bring in a guy or send away a negative influence or anything like that? But that can only be found through consistent playing time, and we'll see if we can get that. Hopefully we can. But so that's a bright spot if it is allowed to continue and push forward.
And I think the changes that we made to the first line, especially on the offensive side, those seem to have worked. Like
Mm-hmm.
the Utah got back on their goal scoring train. Like they were able to score goals against San Jose. I do agree with you that they really need to figure out what they're going to do with like the third and fourth lines, instead of like we're going to bring in Yamamoto, we're going to bring in Liam O'Brien. This guy's going to be a healthy scratch. That guy's going to be a healthy scratch. This game it's this guy. This game it's that guy. Like you have to let them get used to skating with the same teammates on the same line. Like it's going to throw you off a little bit if one game you have Liam O'Brien next to you, and then the next game it's someone else. Like it's not building chemistry. And I think once you get that figured out, and you find the lines that you feel comfortable with, and you can go a stretch with keeping those lines the same, then you can identify, okay, we have to fix this issue. This is the glaring hole on this roster. And I mentioned it a couple episodes ago. Utah has the salary cap room to make some moves if they want to sign someone, if they want to trade for someone, and take on a little bit of extra salary. They can make those moves because they have that room under the cap. So just figure out the lineup, figure out what you're going to do with it, especially the third and fourth lines. And then once you identify what the holes are going to be, go out and fix them, because Utah is not far. They're not far from where they need to be. They need to solidify some lineup stuffs, and probably make a move or two to really solidify this lineup and make a charge.
Absolutely. And looking to the future and being optimistic, this is something we talked about in the preseason, whether Logan Cooley was going to make the jump to the first line center, right? We had our questions going into the season if Barrett Hayton was the true first line center, if he was going to be able to fill that role. Now, early, he seemed to be filling that role well. A couple of goals, tipping through shots from Sergachev, and then kind of just stalled, right? Of that first line guys, right? Smaltz continues to rack up the assists, and Clayton Keller's racking up the points, and Barrett Hayton kind of just stagnates. And so you move Cooley up to the first line to see if he's truly going to be that first line center, which we all project him to be. And then you move Gunther up. So now you have three extremely fast forwards on your top line, including your two top scorers, which is going to be great. You're going to allow Cooley to be a playmaking center and allow the two wingers to really put up points. What that does is what you saw is now you allow Nick Schmaltz's playmaking ability unlock the offensive potential of Matias Michelli, who we all projected to go over his 50 goals over under, or not 50 goals, but 50 points. But hadn't done much. Hadn't done much because he was stagnating on the fourth line. But now he's solidified, hopefully, on the second line. And you get Barrett Hayton, I think, in a less pressure intensive center position in that second line and allow him to just be a big body up front. Let Nick Schmaltz be the playmaker and let Matias Michelli put pucks in the back of the net. And then, like you said, it's the third and fourth lines, though, that we hope that don't get juggled, because they're not going to be the ones that, you're not going to want all your points to come from them, but you're going to want production out of those guys. And we have the guys for it, right? We have the talent there. You move Lawson Krause, you got a guy like Lawson Krause who's moved to the third line. Like, if you're a team, that's a good problem to have, somebody as talented as him on your third line. Jack McBain did great on the second line, and now a physical body on the fourth line. So you've got talent through all four lines. You just got to develop it and give it some time. But so there's some good points to be optimistic. Before I go straight to Mayor of Negative Town, Dustin, are there any other bright spots for the future? Some areas of optimism to maybe, instead of the dead sprint to Negative Town, I just casually stroll to Negative Town.
I think the best. The best way to find optimism is that through this losing streak, a lot of the issues were on the offense, and this team is extremely gifted offensively. Those issues are not going to stay around. They're going to get fixed just naturally based on how good this team is on that side of the ice. So things will turn around.
I like it. I like it. So now I'm not in the dead sprint. I'm not doing my 40-yard dash into Negative Town. But I do want to point out some problem areas, right? We've discussed these before. And the one big problem area that continues to hamper them is penalties. They're third in the league, no longer league leading, which is phenomenal, but they are third in the league in penalty minutes. Now, here's why I think that's manipulated that we're not, because we don't have a lot of fighting majors. We don't have a lot of misconduct minutes to throw off those, but like a lot of ours are minor penalties that we're giving up. So obviously we have to clean that up, because not only are we taking too many penalties, our penalty kill has been mediocre with the penalty kill. We are not dead last, but we are in the bottom half of the 76.9%, basic 19 of 32. So right on the wrong side of the bottom half. And so you've got where your penalty kill it's been like a roller coaster for us, where we kind of expected the season not to be the straight up, straight down. The penalty kill has been this roller coaster of sometimes it's really, really good, and sometimes it's just complete liability. I think there's only been 2 games that we haven't allowed a power play goal. First game, and then the game against Boston where we killed like 7 penalties. It was ridiculous. So phenomenal there, but obviously needs improvement. And then on the other side of the special teams that needs even more improvement is the power play percentage, where we are firmly in the bottom half of the league, only at 14.8%, which is not good enough. It is absolutely not good enough in the NHL. Some of the bottom teams in the league are below us, but we are firmly in that bottom half. No surprise, best power play team in the league is also the best team currently in the league, in my opinion, the Winnipeg Jets, scoring on 44% of their power plays. So they are cashing in when they have the opportunity. Now, penalty kill, also the highest penalty kill in the league, one of the worst teams in the league, the Nashville Predators, killing 93% of their penalties, but they're in the basement of the Central Division. So I think power play percentage is more important than penalty kill percentage, but both are below average, subpar at best. Now, even more concerning on that, if we go to even strength, is the goals for and goals against. The goals for, we are on the wrong side of the halfway mark, coming in at 22 of 32 with only 2.9 goals for per game. Now, on our first few games, I mean, we felt like we were going to be 4 or 5 goals a game was going to be the average, and it was going to be incredible. And then we have goals where we just get shut out, and we just have very little offensive production, especially over the last 5 games. And the goals for has shown that. Same thing with the goals against. We're on the wrong side of the half. This one more telling. We are sixth worst at 3.7 goals against in the league. So only 5 teams have more goals against right now, and one of those teams is San Jose that just beat us. So very much we've got to figure that out, and getting pucks on net is one of those things that's going to help. Case in point, on shots on goal. Where are we on shots on goal? Fourth from the bottom. Only 3 teams shoot the puck less than us. The good news, guys, the Calgary Flames are one of them that we play. The Montreal Canadiens and the Detroit Red Wings are the only other teams with fewer shots per game than us. We only have 26.7 shots per game. And like last night, it's abysmal that you get doubled up by the San Jose Sharks. You just can't have that. You've got to get more shots through. At some point, you got to stop looking to pass first, and you've got to just shoot that puck.
You saw last night in that game. I mean, Matthias Michelli got his first 2 goals of the season, and both of them were just pucks that were put on net, and he puts them back in. Like he was able to clean the rebounds up and find the back of the net on those. Like, good things came from putting the puck on net. Just throw it at the net. Like, it doesn't always have to be a one-timer pass across the ice and that beats the goalie. Just put something there, let a rebound come off of him, let him stop, let the goalie stop a shot with his chest and bounce back in front of him, and then squeeze it through the 5-hole. Just put pucks on net and put the garbage in. Like, if we have to, we can go all the way back and watch Mighty Ducks, or we can put trash on the ice and have all of them just put it back into the net, but just throw them on net and get the puck past the goalie. Just do it.
Yep.
Good things happen.
Logan Cooley's first goal was just a puck thrown to the crease. It wasn't really a shot. It wasn't quite a pass. It just Clayton Keller put it in the middle of the crease, and Logan Cooley was right there to put the puck in. And that sometimes, even if it's not a clear cut shot, rebound control, I think, has been an issue for a lot of goalies this year. And if you're not able to just continue to put pucks on net and put those rebounds in, you're going to have a bad time in the NHL. So we've got to get that cleaned up. Face-offs, though, guys, we're number 1 in the land in face-offs, 56.1%. So excellent work.
Which, another point, if you're putting shots on net and the goalie is making glove saves and he's freezing the puck, you get a face-off in the offensive zone, and if you're the best face-off team in the league, you're probably getting the puck in the offensive zone. Just put it on net, guys. Like, good things happen. We were outshot 46-23 last night. Doubled up, 46-23. Just put pucks on net. I'm begging you, please, just do it.
It can't be said enough. And I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with this, but it can't be said enough. We got doubled up by the worst team in the league, and it's not even close. They are not even like, oh, they might be bad. They're going through a down season. No, everybody knows they're bad. They know they're bad. They know they're bad. And we got doubled up. And that's really, really concerning. Because you can argue, oh, we lost a close one to them. You know, I tried to be optimistic and say at the end of the day, they're still an NHL team, but it just doesn't take the hurt off anymore. But this is the season. This is where we're at. We've still got 72 games to play. We've got the burgeoning rivalry coming up. Calgary Flames coming into town tomorrow. Great seats still available. You want to pay that 25% markup on SeatGeek? Criminals! You could go. Great seats still available. I predicted it as a win. Dustin, do you think we end the slide against Calgary tomorrow?
The Calgary Flames are the suckiest bunch of sucks that have ever sucked. So we're ending it tomorrow. We're winning. Deal with it. We're putting shots. We're putting pucks on nets. We're putting butts in seats. Just set the tone, boys.
Yep, we're going to win it. You heard it here first. If we don't win, things with burritos will happen. Beefy 7-layer cheese burritos. Things are going to happen, guys, if we don't win. Guys, we're going to be here. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Win, lose, draw. The Two Line Pass podcast is going to be there with you. We want to talk to you. We want to get your feelings. Hit us up on Twitter. Email us. Call us. I know some of you are Dustin's friends. I know some of you are my friends. I know some of you are the family. Get out there. Get around the horn. Like, subscribe, whatever you got to do. I don't care about that stuff. But what I do care about is you come out and support your Utah Hockey Club. And they're going to keep playing for you, and we're going to keep bringing you the action. We're going to do power rankings next time, but this time was a symbol of hope, and the ship is sailing. The iceberg's there, but we can still dodge it. Guys, for Dustin, I'm Ryan. Get better soon, my man. And everybody, you stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Two Line Pass podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at the Two Line Pass. You can follow Dustin at HighlightsUt. You can follow Randon at TLP Randon and Ryan at CarnsRyan0420. During the off-season, new episodes of the podcast drop every Wednesday with bonus episodes throughout. And during the season, we will have our weekly show plus game day episodes so you don't miss a minute of the action.